disappearance day of Bhakti Vinod. We'll sing one beautiful bhajan by Bhakti Vinod. Everybody knows the words. And our host's name comes in this beautiful bhajan. Yeah. So if you have your devices, first of all, please put them on silent mode. Otherwise, these little babies have habit of crying in the middle of the lecture. And you can look up Yasomati Nandana by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Yasomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Rangana Kana
Yasomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Rangana
Yasomati Nandana Brajabara
Paranadana Madana Manohara Janapalana Surakula Vachana
Jai Gaur Premanande. So this is a beautiful song of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Prabhupada was very fond of this bhajan. And many of the bhajans, most of the bhajans of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we'll discuss a little bit about Bhaktivinoda first. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganandana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Nena Bhutale Sayanam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Svapadantigam
Vandeham Shri
Jaya Sri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri
Shri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhara Shri Vasadi
Vasadi
Gaur
Gaur
Bhaktivinoda
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatrubhyascha Kripasindhuvaivacha
Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
So we're eternally indebted to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur because he was the first person in our sampradaya to preach outside of the languages of Bharat. Mhm. He wrote many books in English language. In fact, his one book, Lord Chaitanya's Life and Precepts, reached McGill University in Canada in the year 1896, which means it was also the birth year of our dear unlimited merciful Srila Prabhupada. Mm. So this is very significant. And Prabhupada was very fond of his bhajans. In fact, this one bhajan that we sing every day before Bhagavatam class, that Jai Radha Madhava, that Prabhupada sang wherever he went in the world before he gave his lecture, he would sing this beautiful bhajan of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was born in a place called Bir Nagar, near, what is it, Ulagram. And he was born into quite opulent circumstances, but very soon his father died and many troubles besieged the family. And he grew up in his, I believe, his grandfather's house or something. I can't remember exactly. But despite all of these difficulties, he persevered. He was number one in all of his studies and everything. And finally, he moved to Calcutta. And there, through some relative who was a very powerful person, he got him a post as a school teacher. And his salary was 200 rupees per month. Now 200 rupees is not even 2 minutes kharch in Bharat. That was his first job as a school teacher, 200 rupees per month. Just imagine how valuable the rupee was. And eventually, because he performed very well, then he got higher and higher posts, and he became a district magistrate. Now, in British times, this was very unique for someone from Bharat to actually have this post, but the Britishers appreciated his great ability. And finally, he was posted at Jagannath Puri to manage the huge temple of Lord Jagannath. And he did lots of wonderful service there. He regularized a lot of irregularities were going on. He regularized all of those irregularities. And the British were very, very pleased with him. And at that time, there was some imposter incarnation. It's like almost every city we go in the world, there's some incarnation of God there. Prabhupada said in Bharat, labor is very cheap, so they have a factory for manufacturing incarnations of God. So and they export them all over the world. So there was some fellow named Bisikena in the villages, and he was claiming to be incarnation of Vishnu, and that he was going to throw all the Britishers out of India. Of course, this upset the British very much. But Bhaktivinoda wasn't interested in the political angle, that this pastor was claiming to be God. It was intolerable for him. And he had lots of mystic powers and so many things. Bhaktivinoda, with some police, he went there, police in plainclothes, he went there unannounced. And of course, we know Bhaktivinoda's original name was Kedarnath Datta. And even though he came there unannounced or anything, that Bisikena, he said, Kedarnath, I know who you are and why you have come. You don't dare touch me, or you will be ruined. And immediately, Bhaktivinoda ordered the police to arrest him. At that time, sparks were flying out of his hair and the police were very frightened. So Bhaktivinoda himself grabbed the fellow and arrested him. And they took him to the main city. I can't remember which city it was that time. And he was put in jail. And while he was in jail, somehow he warned Bhaktivinoda, now you will see the power. I am the incarnation of Mahavishnu. You will be destroyed. And Bhaktivinoda got a very severe fever. For many days, he was unable to perform his services. But and with great difficulty, he was. The case was going on, and on all counts, he was found guilty of subversion and so many things. And the day came for day was coming for the verdict to be announced, and Bhaktivinoda was very, very sick, and the whole family was getting sick, and even they lost faith. They said, "You please let this guy go. We're all going to be ruined." But Bhaktivinoda was firm in his decision because he knew this guy was this bogus fellow. So the day came, Bhaktivinoda suddenly was struck by this heavy fever. He could hardly get out of bed. But somehow or other, the time for the hearing came, and exactly at 10 o'clock, you've seen the pictures of Bhaktivinoda. He was very robust. He strode into the courtroom, even though a few hours before he was lying in the bed, unable to practically do anything. He strode into the courtroom, gave his verdict that this fellow is guilty and he should be thrown in the jail. And again, the yogi began to do all his tricks. And somehow or other, there was one British fellow there who had read something about how the yogis keep their power in their sikas. So he pulled out some scissors and chopped off the dreadlocks of this yogi, and he fell down to the ground. Because Bhaktivinoda, he wasn't interested in the political aspect of the thing, that this fellow was misleading all the villagers, proclaiming to be God. So he chastised him, and after a few days, that yogi also left this world. So Bhaktivinoda was quite a character. And although he had a nice material education in Calcutta, and somehow or other, I can't remember exactly how he became interested in spiritual life right now. But we can see in all his works, he always talks about how he was uh, taking the position of ourselves, saying how he was foolish materialist and just trying to enjoy in this miserable world. But somehow or other, and at that time, Vaishnavism had come to a very, very poor state. People just considered Vaishnavism means just an excuse to fill your belly. They would go on the streets and chant and collect donations and then go back and smoke and do all kinds of other things we won't discuss here. So Vaishnavism had the elite of society had no respect for Vaishnavism, no respect for the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But somehow he became interested, and even there in Calcutta, he couldn't find a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. With great difficulty, he obtained a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and after studying it, he understood the deep philosophy of Mahaprabhu. And he set out to right the wrongs that were done by the people so-called followers of Mahaprabhu. And he wrote many books and he held many meetings amongst the elite of society, because if Bhaktivinoda was interested, they were also, something must be there. And gradually he understood that everybody said the birthplace of Mahaprabhu is lost under the shifting sands of the Ganga, because the Ganga changed her course many, many times. And it was lost. But Bhaktivinoda wasn't satisfied and he wanted more time to investigate. So he kept applying to get a post somewhere in district of Nadia in Krishnanagar. He wanted a post, but they refused. So he sent them that he was going to, what are you saying?
Resign.
Would you give up your...
Resign.
Resign. And they refused his resignation, but they finally gave him his posting in Nadia district. And he began to study old maps and heard from many old sadhus and everything. And eventually he found some plot. He found that the city of Navadvip was just, in those days, it was just barely 100 years old, maybe 150 years old. So that couldn't be the place. So he studied the old maps and he found this spot in Mayapur. And this land was owned by some Muslims, but they disliked it like anything. It's the only thing they grow there. When they tried to grow so much rice and so many other crops, the only thing they grew was tulsi. So very gladly they were able to sell it to him. And then he brought, just to confirm, because he'd been initiated by Kas Goswami, Bipin Bihari Goswami, but he took Siksha from Jagannath Das Babaji, who at that time was 130 years old. And his servant Bihari Das used to carry him in a basket on his head. So he brought Jagannath Das Babaji, carrying him in a basket, he brought him to that place. And as soon as Jagannath Babaji saw this place, he said, Eto Nimayar Janmastan, Eto Nimayar Janmastan. And he leapt 6 feet in the air. He couldn't even walk, but he leapt 6 feet in the air. This is the place of the birth of Nitai, Nimai. This is Nimai's birthplace. So then Bhaktivinoda, he began to collect. Even it came into the attention of the media, and they printed that Bhaktivinoda has resolved to go door to door. We hope that no Hindu gentleman will send him away without donating his mite, however humble it may be. In this way, he built that beautiful temple that's there at the Yoga Peeth. And he established that this was the original place of Mayapur, because right near there is what is that called? Something Diggy? Balal Digi, which was excavated by Balal Sain, and later the Qazi was living in that same place, and so we know that Mahaprabhu organized a big kirtan party, and so it must have been somewhere on that side of the river, not on the opposite side of the river. In so many ways, he had irrefutable proof, so much proof that if you go to this yoga pit nowadays, just on the opposite side of the road, there's the Mayapur post office. Mm-hmm. What's so significant about that? Because even he was able to convince the government with that by his proof that this is the real Mayapur. So even they established that's Mayapur post office right across the street from Yoga Pit. You'll see Mayapur post office is there. Is it right across from Yoga Pit or from Chaitanya Mata? I can't remember. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we don't have so much time to go deeply, but of course he wanted to, when he was in Puri, he had this great desire to spread the holy name all over the world. And he begged for a Lord to send a ray of Vishnu. And of course, we know that was none other than our Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bimal Prasad. Because we know that in the temple there's Bimala Devi there, so he's called Bimala Prasad. So they both began preaching in so many ways. He wrote so many books. If you read his schedule, you'll be shocked. Despite doing all of his other duties, because he was so efficient, he would, with all his duties as magistrate, he would finish in half the time that anybody else would do. So the balance time he spent for writing books and researching and publishing books. Eventually he made this something about him. What was it called? On Mahatma Gandhi Road, when something Bhavan. Since COVID, my brain gets funny. Anyway, he wrote somehow in all his work, he wrote so many books. He raised a huge family. I can't remember how many children he had, so many children, and still managed to write so many books. Over 100 books he wrote, authorized books, and he wrote so many beautiful bhajans, and he published so many other works of the Goswamis. Anyway, and of course he wanted to preach in the Western world, so he inspired Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, who inspired our dear Srila Prabhupada, and we're sitting here today by the mercy of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We could go on forever, but we don't have so much time. So anyway, we just wanted to speak something in glorification of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Satchidanand Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. And today is also the appearance day of Gadadhar Pandit. And Gadadhar Pandit, he appeared, I can't remember, somewhere in Bangladesh, what is now Bangladesh. His disappearance, but he appeared in Bangladesh. And later he came to Mayapur and became the best friend of, one of the best friends of Nimai. But, and he joined in the camp. There was a few Vaishnavas who were having meetings together and chanting and everything. But most of the people at that time were all Shaktas and worship, just busy trying to enjoy this material world. And Nimai, he was having his Leela of scholarship, and everybody was frightened of him because he could defeat anybody. Then he'd turn around. First of all, he'd defeat their position. Then he'd turn around and defeat his own position. And all the Vaishnavas, they were so sad that what if this fellow could apply himself to the teachings of Krishna, then it would be so wonderful. And they used to avoid him because they knew that he would just get into these useless arguments, and they had no time. They were interested in doing Krishna bhajan. So sometimes they would cross the street and the other way, and they'd run away. And even one time, I think Gadadhar Pandit told him that if you could apply this intelligence to the teachings of Krishna, you would be really great. Hmm? And he said, you will see, Gadadhar, I will be a better Vaishnava than you. After going to Gaya, then Mahaprabhu changed completely. And then all the Vaishnavas, Gadadhar Pandit was the first to witness the change in Nimai. And they were so happy when all the Vaishnavas heard, and they used to associate with him. And Gadadhar Pandit became his constant companion. Even from school, they were constant, and now, especially, they were constant companions. One time, Mahaprabhu was in the ecstasy of separation, and he was crying, "Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna?" And Gadadhar Pandit said, "Oh, Krishna is within your heart." And Mahaprabhu began to rip off his cloth and began to claw at his heart. And somehow Gadadhar calmed him down. He said, "No, he will come. You don't be patient." When Mother Sachi saw this, she said, "This guy is a madman. You have to stay with him constantly to protect him." So Gadadhar Pandit and Nimai were totally inseparable. In fact, he also went with him to Jagannath Puri, and he took Kshetra sannyas. And Mahaprabhu ordered him to stay in a garden called garden is Tota. So he stayed there in this, I forget which type of trees were there. Yeah. And there he was able to discover the deity of Tota Gopinath, very, very beautiful deity. The Gopinath of the garden. And he worshipped that deity, and Mahaprabhu was very happy seeing that service. And actually, the reason he was so close to Nimai is because, or to later Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's actually incarnation of, we can say, Radharani, Shakti Tattva. And we see his relation almost like Rukmini, just like we read in Krishna book how Krishna teased Rukmini one time saying, "I'm not proper husband for you. You could have married any great king. I'm just a useless guy." Rukmini fainted. She didn't understand he was just joking. So like that, he would always tease Gadadhar. So this relationship was there. He's actually, because we know Radha Bhava Duti Suvalitam, Mahaprabhu has taken on the mood and luster of Srimati Radharani. So he's like just the shell of Radharani, because he's that mood has been absorbed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's like, I can't express it properly, but like an empty Radharani. Anyway, they were very, very close like this. Finally, Mahaprabhu, he decided, then one time, Mukunda, he took Gadadhar to see Pundarik Vidyanidhi, because Pundarik Vidyanidhi came. So he told Gadadhar, "You have to come and see, very great Vaishnavas come." And they went to Pundarik Vidyanidhi's house. He saw he was sitting on a very opulent chair, as white as the foam of milk, and just as soft as the foam of milk. And he had his hookah, and he was chewing his pan, and he had big, long flowing hair and silken garments. And Mukunda, "This is a sense enjoyer. Why has he brought me here to the sense enjoyer's place?" Beautiful perfume was filling the air, and incense and everything was burning. So Mukunda saw the face of Gadadhar, so he understood. So he quoted that verse from Srimad Bhagavatam about how Krishna is so merciful that Putana came to kill him. Still, he gave her the position of a nurse in Golok. And when Pundarik heard that verse, he fell off his chair. He started pulling at his hair. He started screaming and rolling on the ground and calling out the name of Krishna. And then Gadadhar realized, I made a big mistake. He said, "How can I get free from this offense?" So he decided that he would take initiation from Pundarik Vidyanidhi. In this way, one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan. And everybody, Sarvabhauman, everyone tried in so many ways to keep her going, but finally we decided he was going to go. And he told Gadadhar, you have to stay and take care of Tota Gopinath. He said, no, wherever you are, that is my Tota Gopinath. I said, no, you've taken Kshetra Sannyas. How can you leave Puri? Wherever you are, that is Puri. In so many ways, he tried to discourage Gadadhar Pandit from coming with him. And finally, they got up to, I think they got as far as Cuttack. There's a river there. And Mahaprabhu told them, now you have to go back. And there's famous painting in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu sitting in the boat and pointing like that take him back. I post for that photo. And the Jagannath Pandit, Gadadhar Pandit's fainting, I also post for that one. But Radharani wasn't satisfied. She had to take 5 or 6 photos of me fainting. So he stayed and continued his worship of Tota Gopinath. But later, when Mahaprabhu manifested his pastime of disappearing, the Gadadhar Pandit, he could no longer bear the separation. So 11 months after Mahaprabhu left this world, and Gadadhar Pandit also left this world on this Amavasya day of the month of Jyesht. Srila Gadadhar Pandit ki jai. So it's also Gundicha Marja. And Maharaj Prataprudra, he had given order to the manager of Gundicha temple that whatever Mahaprabhu wants, you supply him. So Mahaprabhu sent word to the government that he wanted to clean Gundicha Mandir. Marjana means to clean. So the manager immediately came. He said, but this is not a fit work for you. But if it is your desire, then immediately I will send 100 men with 100 water pots, whatever you need, you just tell me. He said, we need brooms and water pots, and that's all, whatever your desire is my order. And so they sent, so many. So next day they all went to Gundicha, and hundreds of people came with water pots and brooms. And Mahaprabhu himself took the broom in his hand. We consider this as a low class, but Mahaprabhu himself took the broom and he began to sweep all the dust and straw, and all the devotees grabbed brooms and everybody began to help. And they cleaned the whole temple, and they cleaned the place where the bhog is offering. They cleaned all the places, all the rooms. And Mahaprabhu kept all the, and then they threw all the dust and straw and dirt outside, and Mahaprabhu kept his one pile, and everybody else kept theirs in the same pile. And Mahaprabhu's pile was bigger than everyone else. And Mahaprabhu used to praise everyone in such a way to chastise them, actually. He said, oh, you are cleaning so nicely. Why you're not teaching others to clean as nice? So he praised them without making them puffed up. Oh, you're doing so nice, cleaning. Then he said, second time, they went around getting the more fine dust and straw. And they cleaned every place. And finally, they ordered the water pots. And 100 people came with water pots. They began throwing water here and there. They would throw it on the ceiling and it would run down the walls. And everybody was cleaning. And like anything, somebody came and poured some water on Mahaprabhu's feet and got it and hid. And another person got some of that water. And another person was distributing that water to everyone. In this way, some pastime was going on, and Mahaprabhu took the Singhasan, he removed it, with his own cloth, he washed the place of the Singhasan, he wiped down the whole Singhasan with his own cloth, and everybody was chanting the holy name. Whoever brought a pot of water, he was chanting Hare Hare, Hare Hare, or Krishna Krishna. And who was receiving that water said, Krishna Krishna. And this way, the whole Gundicha Mandir was filled with Krishna Krishna. And the Vaishnavas were running very ecstatically. So sometimes, bam, 2 pots would bang together. Then they have to bring more pots. In this way, very carefully, Mahaprabhu cleaned the whole Gundicha temple from top to bottom, until it was just as pure as the heart of a pure devotee. Because Mahaprabhu wanted to show we have to make our heart clean for Krishna to stay there. Because now our hearts are filled with all kinds of thorny desires. And so how Krishna will sleep on thorns. Just like one of the first times I ever went to Bharat for the Mayapur festival, then of course those days we all came together, but somehow I stayed behind. And then I was taking a flight by myself, and I was next to some person who introduced himself as a life member from London. Because the old days we used to fly from Delhi to Beirut, Beirut to Athens, Athens to Rome, Rome to Paris, Paris to London, London to New York. There wasn't this big hop that we have now from. So anyway, somehow that flight went from Delhi, and then we started in Bombay. I was in Bombay at that time. Went to Delhi and then flew, and finally, we had to change planes. And we got in there, and I said to our friendly life member, his name was Gopal or something, Gopal Agarwal, and I said, now maybe we can get some sleep, because we were sitting in the airport and waiting for the other flight, and we finally got on, boarded, and finally took off. I said, no, we can get some sleep. And he looked at me and he said, but if we can't get any sleep, then we will simply chant our japa. And I thought this was just an ashram problem. I didn't realize this is a Sarvabhauma problem, universal problem. And I said, Prabhu, if we chant our japa, why will we go to sleep? He said, Prabhu, this world is bed of thorns. This world is bed of thorns. And Lord's name is bed of roses. If you're on a bed of roses, then what will you do? You'll go to sleep. So anyway, our heart is filled with thorny material desires, which they can't sleep there. But just like we have that beautiful song, Tumora Hriday Soda Govinda Visram. We have never seen the picture of Krishna taking rest. He's herding the cows, he's teasing the gopis, he's stealing butter. So he's fighting, he's driving Arjuna's chariot. Everywhere we see him doing something. Swimming in Jamuna. But we never seen him taking Vishram. But here it gives the hint. Tomorrow Vidoye Sada Govinda Vishram. When Krishna wants to rest, then he finds out the clean, pure heart of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, and there he takes rest. And therefore we never saw the photo, we never saw the picture. So the whole temple became clean like the heart of a pure devotee. And all the devotees were very, very happy. And they all went to Indradumna Sarovar. And everybody jumped in the water, and all of the associates of Mahaprabhu were having so much fun like cowherd boys, splashing each other. And Nityananda was splashing water on Advaita, and Advaita was splashing on Nityananda. Whole big festival was there. So this is this wonderful day, Gundicha Marjana. Hare Krishna. Gundicha Marjana ki jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. So I was thinking where to go today. So today we went to the temple with one lady, and her family is originally from Kosi. And we know Kosi is right on the edge of Braj. Kosi is also very famous for us because, as we know, one time Prabhupada was selling his medicines in Agra when he heard that Bhaktisiddhanta had his Prikrama party in Braj. And they were stationed in Kosi, so Prabhupada took a bus and came there and met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta there. And then they announced that they're going, because just nearby is Sheshai. So they announced that there's a Prikrama to Sheshai. Otherwise, His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta is going to give a lecture tonight. The Prabhupada said, I can see holy places anytime, but I don't get the opportunity to hear from my spiritual master. So he stayed behind there at Kosi, and he heard the lecture. And later, when he got initiated in Prayag, Then Bhaktisiddhanta, yes, I have noted, he likes to hear. He likes to hear. So Kosi is also famous for this. But anyway, Kosi comes from the combination of two letters, Ka-asi. Somehow by Sunday it becomes Kosi. K''O''S', Kosi. Kasi means who's there. So what happened was one time, it was the evening time, and Krishna was trying to attract the attention of Radharani. And he's making funny signs and sounds and throwing little rocks at her window. So Radharani came to the window and she called out, Kosi, who's there? And Krishna said, it's me. And Radharani said, Kosi, who's there? It's me, Hari. Now, we know that Hari means the Lord, but it also means lion. Just like we sometimes sing Jayanara, Hari, Jayanara, Nar, man, and lion. And so Radharani said, oh, Mr. Lion, you've come here to eat us? We're very much afraid of you. Please go away. We don't want to see you. No, it's me. Kosi, who's there? It's me, Sri Hari. And Sri Hari also means monkey. So Radha says, oh, monkey. No. You always tear all our cloth when we put it out to dry. You're always stealing. We don't want to see any monkeys here. You please go away. Now it's nighttime. You go home and sleep with all your monkey friends. Don't bother us here. No, it's me. Kosi, who's there? It's me, Madhusudan. Madhusudan, Bumblebee, you come to sting us with your stinger. No, we're very much afraid of you. Please go away. We don't want to see you. No, it's me. Kosi, who's there? It's me, Chakri. Chakri means who has a chakra. Now there's another person, because this employment is becoming less and less, because somehow they invented plastic. But if you ever saw before, we used to see on Govardhan Prikama, there was one place in the town of Govardhan, they would be spinning this wheel around and making the clay cups for us. So he also has a wheel. He makes the clay pots and clay cups and big pots and things like that. So he's also called Chakri. So especially when there's a wedding, now a new chapter of life is opening. So everything has to be cooked in new pots. So we call the Chakri. So Radharani said, Chakri, there's no wedding going on in our village. You won't get any employment here. Better you go to some other village where a wedding is going on. No, it's me, Kosi. Who's there? It's me, Sham Sundar. Black cloud, you come to rain. Now all the mothers are heating up the milk to put their babies to rest. If the babies don't get their milk, they'll make trouble all night long. We won't get any sleep. You go to some agricultural field or somewhere. Don't come here tonight. We don't want any rain here. No, it's me. Kosi, who's there? It's me, Krishna. Krishna, black snake. You come to bite us with your fangs. No, we don't want to see you. Please go away. We're very much afraid of you. We don't want to see you. So whatever name Krishna gives, somehow Radharani, she cuts it to pieces and makes fun. In this way, the divine couple are enjoying their daily pastimes. So this village became known as Kosi from this wonderful pastime. And nearby is the village of Sheshai. We just heard Prabhupada stayed back to hear, but everybody went to see Lord Sheshai. And what happened was Krishna was with all the cowherd boys, and he's always bragging that I was Ram, I was Nrsinga, I was Braha, all these things. So they said, we don't believe you. So then Krishna manifested this beautiful form. Balaram became Anantashesh, and Krishna lay down on him. And everyone was so shocked. And even Radharani, she also became Lakshmi. She jumped in the scene to massage Krishna's feet. And all the copper boys saw this beautiful darshan of Krishna. So that village became known as Sheshayi. Sheshayi Vishnu appeared there. And later Vajranath, he made an enormous deity of this scene with Lord Balaram as Sheshanaga and giving shelter to Krishna like that, and Vishnu lying there, and Radharani's there, and Lord Brahma's on his lotus flowers coming from his navel, and all the demigods are there, and you can see all the rishis and sadhus are there. Very, very beautiful, huge deity. And later, when the invaders came, it was thrown in the lake there. There's a lake there called Shir Sagar, which is appropriate. And there was some fellow from UP, and he decided he was going to go to Jagannath Puri, and he was going to go by doing dandavats, just like we see sometimes on Govardhan. Many people doing dandavat prakama. They get one stone and they do a dandavat, and as far as they can reach, they put that stone, then they walk up to that point, take the stone, do dandavat, and again, it's called dandoti prakama. So that's 22 kilometers, around Puri, around Govardhan. And many times, it's very interesting, many times I've seen the young couples come there. And in Shastra it says that the wife, she automatically gets 50% of the merit of her husband without doing anything. Somehow people are telling that the Vedic culture is against women, but somehow I say it's against men. She doesn't have to do anything, she gets 50%. So we see the young groom, he's doing dandavat, and the bride is coming behind and touching his feet and taking her 50%. You see the young couples doing dandoti prakama like this. So anyway, he was going to do dandoti prakama all the way to Puri. Somehow he got as far as Sheshayi, and in the night, Lord came to him into a dream. He said, in the morning when you go to take your bath, you'll find some stone there in the water, and you call all the villagers and get it out. So he went into the water and he bumped into this stone. Then he called all the villagers, and so many villagers together took so many huge beatings. They pulled him out of the mud, and they found this beautiful deity that I just described. Lord lying on Sheshanag, with Brahma on the navel lotus, and all the sadhus and rishis and demigods, and Lakshmi ji is there. And they made this beautiful temple. And just recently, government has fixed it all. Beautiful places there. And I used to have a very dear friend there. What was his name? He was very, very old Brishvasi. Even sometimes he would come all the way to Vrindavan. It was very difficult from Kosi to get to Vrindavan. He would come just to see me, and I make arrangements for him to stay so he could take darshan and everything. And he gave so much mercy on me. He was so kind to me. And whenever we come there, he would get some chach for all the devotees. And sometimes he'd get rotis for everyone. Sometimes I got his phone number, we call up, and he would make rotis and chach for all the devotees. And we come there. And he would live just next door to the temple. His name is just on the tip of my tongue. Now his son is there. He's no more. But his son is there, and he does the same thing. He immediately, I give him a call, and he makes an arrangement for chach and rotis and everything for all the devotees. And very big hall, this beautiful temple, the darshan mandap. In the ceiling, there's so many incredible paintings of all different. You'll see Barsana is there, and Mathura is there, Vrindavan is there, Govardhan Lila is there. All these incredible paintings, and very very wonderful temple is there in Sheshai. Sometimes generally we don't, on Kartik time, of course the Brajmana Prikrama always goes there. Generally our bus Prikramas, we don't go there, but every once in a while we make it. We put that in for some variety to go there. It's a very sweet place. All the villagers are very happy to see all the devotees come. There's not many foreigners go all the way up there to that place, so they're very happy and they're always very helpful to us. And very nice place. Nearby is Lala. What is that place called? Where? No, where the deity of Hanuman is there. Yeah, that's Chamelivan. Nearby, there's a village called Chamelivan. I remember I was behind, I lagged behind him. I went on Braj Bandhu Prikrama with Lokanath Swami's group sometimes. And I was lagging behind. And I met some sadhus who were telling me about this place, Chamelivan, and not far from Sheshai. So I was always anxious to go there. So anyway, we went there. There's a very famous Hanuman temple there. Very beautiful deity of Hanuman is there. Another, what is the other temple?
Akshayvat.
No, not Akshayvat. No. There's some, I think, right? Maybe. Anyway, it's beautiful Hanuman deities there. What happened was one time Krishna, he was playing and became very late. And Madhi Soda was very worried. Because there's a big lake there. Temple's right on the banks of the lake. Big lake is a huge temple there. And it became late, and Madhi Soda was worried, and she's looking all over. Somehow she heard that he'd gone to the north, so she began coming to the north with her big stick. So Krishna, he saw, he was just having fun with his friends. He didn't want to come home. So he was just playing and playing. He saw Madhi Soda coming with a stick. So he took the form of a monkey. The Madhi Soda couldn't recognize him. So actually that Hanuman there is actually Krishna in the form of Hanuman. And every, I think Tuesdays or there's some special day that huge crowds from this huge temple is there. There's a beautiful Hanuman that's actually Krishna in the form of Hanuman. And Chameli is a very beautiful flower. It's a very special place. All of a sudden, all the farmland just disappears, and pilu trees and dungar trees, and then suddenly you find the entrance and you go in, and there's thousands and thousands of monkeys there, much more than you will see anywhere else in Braj. Thousands, and you'll see Nilgai, because it's a huge area, so they feel safe there. You'll see Nil right by the side of the road. You can see Nil. Otherwise, as soon as you get within 100 meters of a Nilgai, he will boom, go running off. So the Brishvasis call them Nilgai, blue cow. It's not actually a cow. You can see it has horns just like an antelope. It's some type of antelope. And the females are very, very golden color, but the males are deep gray color that reminds the Brishvasis of blue. Gray is almost very close, very deep gray is almost blue. So they call them Nilgai. You'll see Nilgai there, and they'll run into the forest. And you just go way inside this winding road that just winds around. And you go, finally you arrive there at the temple, and huge parking lot for all the buses. Stay on one side, and then this nice big temple is there. Very interesting place. What else happens there? I guess the thing, every Tuesday there's a big festival there. Somehow for the Brishvasis, Tuesday is Hanuman's Day. Which reminds us, there's one story in Skanda Puran because there's Garga Samhita tells a different story how Giriraj appeared, but Skanda Puran has a story that one time during Ram Lila they were making the bridge, and Hanuman was bringing mountain peaks from here and there and here and there, and one special hill had been born in the Himalayas, and his father's name was Dronachal, because we call the mountains Achal. Just like when you come on Prikama with me, all day long we're behind you. Chalo, 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 chalo. But the mountains, they don't chalo, so they're Achal. Himachal, Nilachal, Vindhyachal. So his father's name was Dronachal. And all the other, even Mount Meru came, all the other Himavan came, all the other mountains came to offer respects to him when he appeared there. So anyway, Hanuman found that great big mountain, so he picked it up and he began to fly through the sky with it. He got over Braj when they heard the cry that the bridge is complete. There's no more need of any rocks or mountains. So he set Giriraj down there in Braj. And Giriraj began to cry. I was going to get the touch of the lotus feet of Lord Ram. Now you're depriving me. He said, no, you don't worry. You just stay here. You be patient. When Dwapar Yuga ends, toward the end of Dwapar Yuga, Krishna will appear. He will run all over your peaks all day long with the cover boys. And one time he will lift you on his little pinky for 7 days and 7 nights. So this is another story, how Giriraj came to Braj. Because that Giriraj in the spiritual sky, he was huge, unlimited. They said Giriraj was so big that when the sun god would go across the sky with his chariot at the noontime, they would eat the grass on top of Govardhan Hill. So he was too big for Braj Leela, so that's why he's sinking. And we see him now very small. There's another story from Garga Samhita, how that Giriraj came to Braj, that Krishna told Radharani that now Dwapar Yuga is coming to end. We will go to the earth and display our pastimes together. And Radharani said, Yatra Vrindavanam Nasti, Na Yatra Jamuna Nadi, Yatra Govardhan Nasti, Na Tatra Miraman Sukha. That wherever there's no Vrindavan, wherever there's no Jamuna, where there's no Giriraj, Mahamiraman Nelakti, I will not feel happy in such a place. So Krishna said, I will send Vrindavan there to the earth, I will send Govardhan to the earth, and I will send Jamuna to the earth. So as I said, Govardhan in the Golok, he was huge. So when Krishna sent him down, he appeared on the Salmali Dweep, just like we're on Jambu Dweep. As soon as you go to Radhakund and you try to take some water, then the Pandits will come and do their thing, Jambu Dweepe, Bharakande, Mathura Mandale, Radhakund Sthite, So we're on the Jambu Dweep. Next dweep over, maybe a couple dweeps over, I can't remember, Salmali Dweep. And we know each dweep is 10 times bigger than the other. So he appeared on that Samali Dweep. And one time in Kashi, Benares, there was one Rishi named Pulasta Rishi. And like all Rishis, sometimes he likes to go on pilgrimage. He was doing his bhajan there in Kashi, but he decided to go on pilgrimage. And he was very powerful. He could go from one dweep to another dweep. So he came there to Salmali Dweep, and he saw this beautiful mountain. And there's so many flower trees and fruit trees. and beautiful rivers of crystal clear water cascading down the sides, forming beautiful pools of water, and peacocks were crying, meow, 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 and the doves were calling, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. And the kokilas were singing. Let's see if we can do it. These are such a beautiful hill. My Kashi is a very flat place. We call that Gangadik plain. Because there, just after Prayag, Ganga and Jamuna join together. It's almost a hair-raising scene. You see, two gigantic rivers merge into one even bigger river. It's the most amazing scene. Special energy is there when you see that. And then flows to Kashi. So that's all flat, Gangadik plain. He said, this would be a nice place to sit and do my bhajan. So he asked, Giriraj, you please come to my ashram in Kashi. And he said, well, you have to get permission from my father. Because the Indian children, they're very, very obedient to father and mother. It used to be anyway, when I first went to Bharat. So his father, Dronachal, was nearby. So as soon as Palasta Rishi came, then Dronachal, he stood up with folded hands. He said, Maharaj, any seva, Maharaj? Just like we go to some industrialist office, immediately they stand up. Oh, Maharaj, any seva? Yes. You just give 55,000 rupees, 555 rupees, and become life member. Any other seva, Maharaj? So he said, any seva, Maharaj? Yes, I want to take your son with me to Kashi. Any other seva, Maharaj? And Palasta Rishi became very angry. I've seen somehow or other so many Paka Rishis, Paka Sadhus in Vrindavan. You put a pack of 500 rupee notes in front of them, they don't care to see. I come on Trikapa with all these beautiful white Russian devotees, they don't care to see. But you do some mistake, some little etiquette mistake, they just explode, This lust and greed, you can control a bit, but this anger, that's the hard one. So he got ready to curse Dronachal and break his Brahman thread. He said, no, Maharaj, what can I do? I'm so attached. Would you please take my son? But wherever you put him, he'll never move from that spot. So he told Giriraj, you please go with this Rishi, and wherever he puts you, never move from that spot. And Palasta Rishi was very happy. If he comes to Benares and never leaves, then I'll be very happy. So Giriraj became light as a feather, and Palasta Rishi pulled him up. And they were flying all night from one dweep to next dweep without Indigo Airlines. They were just flying by the power of Palasta Rishi. And early in the morning, they passed over this beautiful Braj Mandal. As soon as they got over the Braj Mandal, then Palasta Rishi slowed down a little bit. He began to see this beautiful place. And Giriraj realized this is Braj, this is actually where he wants to be. So he became a little heavy. Because in the morning, as soon as you wake up, certain bodily functions begin to manifest. So it became a little heavy to help those pushings manifest. So then Palastri said, he set Giriraj down. He went and did all his morning duties, took his bath in Jamuna, and he came back and he tried to lift Giriraj. And Giriraj wouldn't lift. Are, what is this? He said, my father told, wherever you put me, I never move from that spot. And we know the Indian children, they're very obedient to father and mother. All the children are the same. All right, you stay here, I don't care. But I curse you, you will sink to the width of one till. Till means sesame seed. Everybody says mustard seed, but I went and saw the Sanskrit in Skandapura, in Garga Samhita, and it says till the sesame seed. The width of one sesame seed, you'll sink into the ground every day. So Giriraj is shrinking because we shouldn't think that he was subject to any Rishi's curse. This was just a pastime that Krishna made to bring Giriraj to the proper size for Braj Leela. He was too big for Braj Leela, so he came down to the proper size. So we may ask why he's still shrinking. Already Krishna manifests all his Braj Leela. For that answer, we have to look in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which was translated by my dear departed godbrother Gopi Pranadana in Govardhan, along with Sanatana Goswami's commentary. Because sometimes somebody writes a scripture and then somebody else comments on it. But this is a commentary by the author. Because whether the commentators actually, caught the idea or not, you don't know. But now the author himself is giving his commentary. And this is the first book that BBT has published that wasn't by Srila Prabhupada. And there it describes how Dauji, Balaram, he goes to Braj from Dwarka. He keeps trying to get Krishna to come, but Krishna he's so fickle, I can't go, but I just can't go. So I'm going. Then he went there, and he came back, and he said, Kanaya, you have to go. All the cowherd boys, they're just lying in the fields, thinking about you. And the gopis, they're so absent-minded, they try to milk a bull instead of a cow. And the cows, they just take a bite of grass and they don't chew. And Mother Yasoda and Nanda Baba, they don't even look at each other. Because if they look at each other, they'll see the sorrow in each other's eyes and they'll start crying. And they've already cried so many tears, there's no more tears left to cry. And even the calves, they don't drink the milk of the mothers. Now, this is totally amazing. If you've ever been to the Goshala milking time, it's an amazing scene because it's not that the milk automatically comes. We call letting it down. We have to get the cows to let the milk down. So first we bring the calf. The calf drinks by seeing her calf. Vatsalya Ras comes as the cow's heart, and she lets the milk down. Then sometimes it takes two cowherd boys to pull that calf away. So the calves are not drinking milk from their mothers. That's the most amazing thing. He said, Kanaya, what to speak of moving things, even Giriraj is shrinking out of separation from him. Giriraj is shrinking. That's why he continues to shrink. Because very clearly in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can see how much he shrunk. It says that when Mahaprabhu came to Kusum Sarovar, he saw, he took darshan of Govardhan Hill. Anybody's been to Kusum Sarovar? Do you see Govardhan anywhere? Even 500 years he sank so much. Not till much later, when the road goes like that, then you see Giriraj start to rise up. So even in 500 years, so much he sank. Out of separation from Krishna. So now you all have to make more and more devotees, and you bring them all to Braj. We'll have a big kirtan party going around Giriraj, and the name of Krishna and Krishna are non-different. So maybe Giriraj will rise up. If we go with thousands of devotees doing Prikava and chanting the holy name, doing Nam Sankirtan, maybe Giriraj will rise up to his form of glory. Hare Krishna. Oh, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. So that's how Govardhan is. Shrinking. So what time is it? 8:20. So I think we should put our voice to rest here. If anybody has any questions, we can try to answer those questions.
Thank you for the class. Prabhuji, there's a lot of confusion about the Parikrama of Giriraj. Like some people say that there's inside Parikrama we go close to Giriraj and there's Brajvasi villages are there. Rishi should not go inside because Giriraj is already sunk inside and stepping over the stone or something. Is that correct?
No. I used to always go by the inside. Now they put big fence all around everything. It's difficult. Used to be nice. Just past our Iskan Ashram used to be a little road. Yes. You go inside, all the kadamba trees and nice sandy path and no cars and trucks. Now luckily, fortunately, Krishna's grace, they prohibited cars and buses and everything. Only the auto rickshaws, e-rickshaws are there. But we used to do Prikama dodging buses and trucks and cars. Now we just deal with the e-rickshaws. As long as you don't go on, because even if that were the case, then our ISKCON ashram is illegal because they wanted to find water, and they hired some company from Delhi to, by some new technology, they can search under the ground, they can find water. And they found at the front of the property, they go down, and suddenly they hit, just 50 feet down, they hit stone. And then they can't detect anything else. And on the back of the property, they go like 150 feet down, and there's stone. So all right, ISKCON ashram is on top of the hill. So to do prikrama on the inside or outside is irrelevant, because outside is also on top of the Govardhan. Because if you can get into the inside prikrama, it's very sweet. And now, unfortunately, they've made an illegal turn. When you get down to Pushari, they made a shortcut around the hill like that. And so you don't go take darshan of Lavta Baba. We were telling about Lavta Baba the other day. And the Brijbazi say that he's the one who's taking attendance, Hajri. So if you don't punch your card there, then you don't get counted as doing Govardhan Prikrama. So they made this illegal turn. You can see, you go up on Nishringa temple, you can look down, you see this.
Srinathji temple is there, I think. Right?
No, that's at Govindakund, but way down at Punchari, there's a Nishringadev temple, where that our dear godbrother Indra Swami has fixed it up very, very nicely. A nice place. When you go up, you used to go way up this big ramp and then climb some stairs that are somewhere between Kali Yuga stairs and Dwapar Yuga stairs. And you come up top, and he's fixed up the altar room very nicely, Kirtan Mandap very nicely. But from up there, there's a little terrace, and you can see beautiful view of Giriraj. You can see the prikrama, illegal prikrama path, illegal turn.
There anything mentioned about how long Giriraj Govardhan will exist on this?
I've never seen anything about that, but it does say that as soon as Giriraj disappears, then Kali Yuga really begins. We used to say in American English, you ain't seen nothing yet. You think it's bad now, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till Giriraj disappears. Yes.
The keeping of attendance again?
Well, there's a temple there called Putrika Lavta Baba, right at the tail end of Govardhan. That village is called Punchari, because it's the tail Punch. And Lavta Baba, he's taking attendance. Who's doing prikrama? So they made this shortcut turn there that you don't come out to the Punchari temple. You miss, there's Navalkund and Apsarakund. You miss those two very beautiful places. And you miss Lavta Baba. And Lavta Baba is so cute. He's sitting there because he's waiting for Krishna. You just see him sitting there. Krishna told him, I'm just now coming. So he's waiting there.
There are so many pools, like some pools only we can go and bath, like Uddhav pool only, right? Or
No, there's so many kunds.
can we go and take our bath in the other pool? Because
Yeah, why not? But Uddhav Kund is special.
yeah, that's where I took when I
As soon as it's always in the sun. There's no trees around it to shade it from the sun, but it's so cool. And it's at the end, if you started, because generally, because we're coming from Vrindavan, the closest place to start would be just outside of Radhakund. So that's at the very end of the prikrama almost. You're just, because after Uddhav Kund, next stop is Radhakund. So you're very tired. And you jump in that water, I call it a magic kund. As soon as you dip in that water and you come out, you're ready to do a whole other Prikram again. It's a magic kund.
Yeah, I am fortunate that I got a chance to do parikrama with you, and we went through that inner
Yeah.
Golden Parikrama, and I took that in Bodhakund, as per you said, it was in 2003.
You're lucky. I don't do Prikram anymore. It's too old. So you're very fortunate. But I always have everybody jump in. You're ready to do a whole other Prikram again. And Aniruddha Maharaj has installed beautiful deities there. I like the old ones. So on the far end, there's the old deities of Uda Bihari, Radha Uda Bihari. So they're very cute. He has he's installed these beautiful deities, and except in the Pujari there, his name is Giridhari. And his father did 5,000 Govardhan Prikramas to get him as a son. He was doing Prikrama with this prayer in his heart that I get a son. After 5,000 Giriraj Prikrama, he got this son.
Pujari left the body. I met him several times.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's gone.
Yeah, so he was telling me that he had read Bhagavatam 14 or 1,500 times, and he said 300-400 times it's left itself. He used to come back again. So his son was there, so I was talking to him. He said, well, he came back in our family, is showing the picture of the son. Yes. He was very attached to all of you. He mentions all of you, Gopalkrishna, you, and all of them he used to mention.
Yeah, they do the ISKCON Sahasranam. Especially in Radhakund, they think they'll get some money somehow. Gopal Krishna Maharaj, Radhanath Swami, Deena Bandhu. My friend, Deena Bandhu, my friend. Give me money. Especially in Radhakund, they're very expert at chanting the ISKCON Sahasranam. So anyway, of course, looks like I see the same people from every night. But anyway, it's in case somebody hasn't gotten a copy of my new book, we have our new book with us. So speaking of Giriraj, it's about Giriraj. Giriraj, the king of mountains. And every possible kund and place we found here. And this is the third part in our series. The other two is out. Right now it's out of print. But it's available on Brajlila Part 1 and Part 2 are available on Amazon. This is also available on Amazon. It's very expensive because those ones have maybe 10 or 12 color prints in them. This one, everybody loves Arta Bandhu's Arjun Bhattacharya, his wonderful pictures. So we put 284 color pictures in this book. So all the places of and 32 paintings are there. We had to get permission from BBT. They're very happy to get permission, by the way, immediately. And so many beautiful pictures are there. Every place we could find on Govardhan is here. And we're just asking a small donation, $25, and I'm here to sign it if anybody wants a copy. But first we should do some kirtan. To end the day. We started with kirtan, we end with kirtan. And you're all tired of sitting, so you can all stand with easy dancing music. Shall we do Lala, shall we do Janmashtami song? Janmashtami song. Somebody want to set up the harmonium for prabhuji? It's coming.
Yeah.
Explain the song first. Explain the song first.
Hmm?
Want to explain the song first?
Sing. Anyway, this is the original Jamastami song. I don't know if you'll find it in any songbook. You'll only find it in the hearts of the Vishwasis. And one time, I wanted to see the Jamastami in Los Angeles because they give permission for the city to block off the street, and they have butter churning festivals in the middle of the street. You can try your hand at churning butter, like we were describing the other day. And so there was one nice devotee in charge of the Indian preaching there. So all around the area, in all the schools, they were having, all the people from Bharat were having a nice program for Jamastami. So he took me around, and I would always sing this song. So he wanted me to sing this song in a New Dwarka temple in Jamastami Day. So I went to my god brother Nirantar, and I said, "Can I have 5 minutes of the midnight kirtan?" He said, "You can have one mantra." Because he leads the kirtan, then he has everybody take turns leading one mantra. So I said, "Oh, I guess Krishna doesn't want me to sing this song." So then they had the Abhishek. After Abhishek, they have to clean up, they have to dress the deities and get ready do the bog offering, and they get ready for arti. This is dead time then. So the dead time is that we want to collect the outfits for Rukmini Dwarka. This is a long time ago. They said we need $25,000 to collect for the outfits for the whole year. Anybody want to donate the whole amount? Is anybody 25,000? Anybody 25,000? How about 10? Anybody want to give half? Anybody 10,000? This horrible thing is going on here. Oh, Mr. Gold is giving 1,000. All right, Mr. Gold is giving 1,000. Anybody else? Oh, Mr. Patel, he's giving 1,000. All right, so this is going on, every year. So it said that devotee, he made the announcement that we're collecting for the year, the outfits. And meanwhile, we'll pass out the pledges. You don't have to give now, you can make a pledge. And Deena Bandhu will sing a wonderful song. I said, "What?" Because he knew that I was singing the song every program we went to. So then I started singing the song, and all the old ladies were crying. And everyone knew this is the most wonderful song of Janmashtami. Everybody was in ecstasy. And even Narendra came up. He would have told me you were going to chant like his elder devotees picked it up. It's pretty simple Hindi, so you pick it up easily. He said, "If I would have known that's what you're going to chant, I would have let you give 5 minutes, more than 5 minutes." But anyway, we were all singing, and everybody was in super ecstasy. They collected $30,000 very sweetly, without all this auctioneering. Nandagara Nanda Bayo Jai Kaniya Lal Ki. Ya Lal Ki. Jai Kaniya Lal Ki. Jai Kaniya Lal. Jai Kaniya Lal Ki.
Holy Ram, Srila Prabhupada, Yay, yay, Sri Ram.
Hare Krishna. So we're so thankful to Deena Bandhu Prabhu for coming here. This 3 days past as if we are floating in Vrindavan Dham. Now our desire is to just go, follow him, and be in Vrindavan Dham. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. You're coming here and just mesmerizing. And this book is so phenomenal. I was reading this book, and every second, every page, every word is so wonderful just to see in the pictures what Prabhuji has done. For like painstaking service, just mind-boggling. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. We appreciate that. Haribol. So tomorrow we have His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj Vyas Puja ceremony. We'll start at 4:30. Then after that, to commemorate the Rath Yatra in Jagannath Puri, we'll have the kids' Rath Yatra like we do every year. So the program's going to go 4:30 till 7:30, 8 o'clock. Thank you.